afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today on our June webinar. I hope everyone is getting beautiful weather like we are in Albany. Just a couple of reminders. I know this is a newer format for GoToWebinar, so please bear with us as we are all learning it. But if you get dropped for any reason, log back in immediately and notify us via email. And if you can't get in for any reason, please, again, notify us immediately. I know the GoToWebinar app traditionally hasn't worked great on the iPhone, so please notify us if you're having any issues, and also pay attention to the number I'm going to give you at the beginning and at the end, so in case we need to verify with you, then that can be proof that you are actually on the webinar. At the time of registration, you are asked to provide the names of all of those sitting in with you watching this webinar. If there were any names you missed, please let us know immediately via email. You must have been pre-registered through your portal in order to receive credit. So you register through your portal prior to today, and then you go on and you get onto the link and you actually have to provide the names again. So it's a two-step process. Okay, at this time, I'd like to turn it over to Mike Gordon, who is the NYSFGA president. Thanks, Mike.
Hey, everybody, good afternoon. Welcome to our 2 p.m. webinar. Today we've got Welton, who's going to be talking to us about AI and action in funeral homes. Before that, I just want to touch base on a couple things. First of all, you guys should have all received by now the information about our convention, which is coming up. August 17th to the 19th. It's now time to make sure that you make your hotel reservations for the convention. If you haven't done so already, please do so before the hotel sells out, which has happened in the past. It's a jam-packed weekend. I call it a weekend, even though it's Monday through Wednesday, but it feels like a weekend. A lot of great CEU opportunities that are there, and we get to welcome our incoming president, Mr. Mark Nolan, who will be our next president of this great association. Secondly, ballots should be in your email for elections for the association. If you did not receive them, please do check your junk and spam email. If you still don't see it, please reach out to Kelly and staff at headquarters. They'll be able to make sure that they have your email correct. The balloting ends on June 18th. Lastly, coming up this week or the beginning of next week, the newsletter should be out. I'm finishing up my details for my report, but it's jam-packed with information about our recent board meetings that we had and some other state association happenings. And finally, I believe that this is the last CEU program that we're offering for the quote-unquote year. Biennium is up, and we're going to start back up again in September. I just want to take this opportunity for allowing me to come into your businesses, into your rooms, to give you a little state association tidbits and updates throughout the past year during my term as president. I hope it's been helpful for you, and I hope that you've used some of the tidbits that I gave you. With that, I'm going to turn it back over to Kelly.
Thanks, Mike. So following the webinar, just please keep in mind that it's going to take about 7 to 10 business days for your portal to reflect the credit, and then we will be mailing out a certificate. We ask that you be patient with us. If you have any questions, you can type them in the question box, and I will be answering those. Welton will be answering those, but we will be addressing them at the end of the webinar. At this time, I'd like to welcome our presenter, Welton Hong. He is the author of books Making Your Phone Ring with Internet Marketing for Funeral Homes and Making Your Phone Ring with Internet Marketing for Cemeteries. He's also a regular contributor to numerous major death care publications. A core part of his mission is to provide free ongoing education to funeral and cemetery professionals on cutting-edge marketing techniques. And today he's going to be talking to us about that big scary thing, AI. Welcome, Weldon.
Thank you so much. Yeah, hopefully after today, it's not going to be as scary for you guys. Welton over here. So really, I want to dove very, very deep with you guys. There's a lot of noises out there as far as what AI can do. And a lot of folks just talking out there about what it can do, what it cannot do. But today, the main thing I want to go over with you guys is pretending I'm sitting right next to you or you're looking over my shoulder. I'm actually going to show you how to use it and what you can use it for and what works, what doesn't work so far. So, yep. So before we begin, I just kind of want to, these are typically the questions I get asked. There's so many tools out there these days. Which one's better? Which one should I use? So as far as tools go, really they're all, as far as chatbots go, whether using ChatGPT, Gemini, or Claude, these days they're all about the same. It really is. It's really is just whichever one you're comfortable in using. And by now, it's kind of clear who is using what. The younger generation, their default is Gemini. And it's Gemini is owned by Google, right? It's all that ecosystem within Google. And the reason the younger generation tends to go with Gemini is it's free. You can use the free version for a long, long time without needing to pay for it. So the younger generation tends to use Gemini because they're not going to go ask for their parents, hey, I'm going to cheat on my homework. Can I borrow your credit card? So that's why Gemini tends to draw the younger crowd. Me personally, I tend to use ChatGPT a lot in the past. And lately, I've personally been switching over to using Claude a little bit more. But at the end of the day, they are all really the same. You really don't need to be using, right? It's just choose one, right? If you love ChatGPT, just continue to use ChatGPT. There's really no reason to swap anymore. They're all pretty good. Then when we have a little bit of time at the end, I also want to show you how to use these AI tools to create images. Could be for your brochure, could be for your lunch alert event coming up. You can also use these AI tools to create beautiful images. And right now, as of today, there's really 3 major AI tools that can do very, very beautiful images. Again, we'll go through all these together. Midjourney, probably many of you haven't heard of Midjourney. Midjourney is still probably the best one to be creating images. But you can also use, which we'll demo it together, is ChatGPT also has its own image builder built in there. So for simplicity, just if you love to use ChatGPT, it has that image builder in there. If you love Google's ecosystem, Gemini, it's synced up with Nano Banana. It can do very good image creation as well. So that's why, again, these days, I really think, just choose one. It should be able to cover it all. It's either use ChatGPT or use Gemini. Claude, unfortunately, so far, they are still a little late to the game as far as image creation goes. But before we begin again, is still to this day, everything that you use AI for, it really has still to be really, really scrutinized. You got to be QAing it for accuracy. It does not hallucinate much at all, right? Compared to a year, 2, 3, 4 years ago, it used to hallucinate a lot. It used to get a lot of context in not right incorrectly, but these days it's pretty accurate now. But still need to QA it for accuracy. Don't just trust the output and just copy and paste. That's definitely not what I would do. So before we begin, just a few things Mike said. I just want to keep on talking about this before we begin. It's still even me, when I use it, it still seems like it's too good to be true. And I still feel a little bit like, since it's too good to be true, it still feels like I'm cheating. So it's this very, very strange behavior here is even I use it, I still feel like, wow, like this could really enhance, It can really increase the speed, output, accuracy, right? If you can build QA tools in there, but really, at the end of the day, it's not here to replace jobs. It's here to really make our life a little bit easier. And right, so and this is where things just keep on evolving. Even me, like every quarter, I feel like I'm a little left behind a little bit. But as long as you're using these AI tools, right, it's like using Google, right? For example, yeah, it really does not a whole lot of learning curve. So today I'm gonna share with you how I use AI. Like we're just gonna use ChatGPT for example, and give it a framework on how to use it, how to make your life easier as well. So yeah, so this is where, again, as business owners or as funeral directors, this is where I really look at AI as my best friend these days. If you really think about it, it's not here to replace people. It's really here, a lot of things we can use it for is, first of all, is everyone has access to these tools now. And that really just raises everyone's minimum standard of output, right? There's at least, right, when you're writing even emails to the families, if you leverage AI, right, some are not just not good at right writing professional emails, right? For example, right, my team, my own team, we have 130 headcounts here. A huge fraction of them are just younger generation. I always freak out when they email our clients. It's like they are texting their friend. I'm like, we're not texting, right? You're not texting your friend. You got to be writing professional, right? Right, very professionally. So that's where AI can really smooth it out and write very professional email, right? But this is how I kind of look at it, okay? But this is where I really want to, before we begin, there's one more thing I want to really talk about. Then we're going to start prompting, show you how to use it. So this is where you, as a funeral home, you got to really set a standard. First of all, is do you embrace AI or you do not embrace AI? You got to be very clear, not like very black and white, because most likely your staff is already using AI already, and they're afraid to tell you, right? So that's why it's you really just got to come out. Do either embrace it, you don't embrace it, because most likely they are already using it, and that's actually good too. But which we'll also talk about is if your team is using it, you got to set very clear boundary what they can use it for. And I'll kind of share with you a document on what they should use and not use it for. You got to set some very clear boundaries as well. Okay, so that's really talk about the syntax here. This is where every time before I go on ChatGPT, for example, we're gonna start playing with this, okay? But there's really a secret sauce. Why some funeral homes that use AI to generate content, their output is better than somebody else down the street. And this is really is coming down to two things. It's called, basically, I call this secret sauce. So these days, the context is the most critical, and also how you prompt it. But to me, prompting is actually very simple, which I'll go over the formula with you guys. But first of all, let's talk about the context. So really is you got to think about is, for example, today, if you are sitting down next to a, let's say you need marketing, right? You need to write some critical copies for your website, for example, or marketing copy. So let's say you hire a professional copywriter. So my mindset is always, I hired a professional copywriter next to me, or legal advice, right? But I have to let it know a lot about, right, who am I, right? You got to have a lot of context, or else when it's writing content, it's going to be writing outrageously generic content, So this is where I'll show you an example here. Is the more you let ChatGPT know a lot of information about who you are, what you do, how are you different, what is your business model, do you do direct cremation? Again, the more information you gave to ChatGPT, when it's writing the content, it's writing it specifically just for your funeral home, specifically for your locality, right? It's going to take that all into consideration versus a funeral home down the street. They use ChatGPT to write content. It's going to be outrageous generic because it doesn't know anything about you. So I always say this, again, AI is not magic here. It's like if you were to hire a professional copywriter, they're going to sit down and interview you first, right? Who you are, what you do, how you're different, right? What is this marketing piece about? So this is the first homework I would like you guys to do. This really is a secret sauce, guys. So you got to have, and I will send this out to you guys, and this is where you got to have a knowledge base file for your funeral home. And you can see the questions here really is if a copywriter is sitting down with you, they're going to be asking a lot of questions, right? When are you founded? The more information they know about you, right? What services you provide, for example, right? Your pre-need, right? Cremation services, right? Your facility, what does it look like, right? Do you have, right? But you can see this also down to your writing style preferences, right? Because your writing style for your company might be very different than under funeral home, right? But that's why, again, if it doesn't know, it's going to default to its own writing style. But your style might be very different than others, right? And also, right, typically when people call in, what questions do they ask? Your overall tone, messaging, right? Anything that's right, big no-nos, that's where you put it here. That's where the box is, right? What you can, what you cannot do when using AI to write stuff, right? So I'll send this out to you guys. And this is where I will really want you guys to sit down with, right, by yourself first, fill this out. And then also meet with your team to beef this up. Once you have this document now entered, is you just need to drag and drop this document onto ChatGPT. Now, every time you use ChatGPT, also your team, right? Everyone within your staff, every time they use ChatGPT, they drag and drop this file. Now, anytime they write content, could be email to clients, right, to families, or whatever you're using it for, or even to rewrite the job description, for example, it's going to reference this knowledge base file. This knowledge base file is unique to you. This really is, right, a lot of content about you. So if you have that, I can guarantee you your content will be outrageously 100% better than somebody else down the street that's using ChatGPT, because everyone has access to it, right? And also, this is the guardrail that once you have this file, all of your staff, they're all using this file, and this is a file you might want to constant update as you go. Okay, so that's a context part. And seriously, I haven't seen, right? I only seen a few funeral homes that have this knowledge base file built. And this is where you really got to have this file ready. And then that's how, right, really is your content will be much better. So that's the first thing. Second is going to be something called prompting. Prompting is what you type in. So this is my framework these days, is these AI engines are getting outrageously smart. And really is every time I use AI, besides that knowledge file that I upload, is first of all, I'm thinking is who am I sitting next to? Now I have access to a bunch of models here. If I need legal advice, then I will first of all tell ChatGPT, hey, you are a professional attorney that specializes in employment law. So you got to let it know, right? First of all, right, what model to switch it to, right? If I need marketing pieces to be written, I'm going to let it know, hey, you're a professional copywriter. Okay. So that way, again, it's going to be writing, right? Once you're in that mode, it's going to be knowing, hey, now it's acting as whom. Okay. Second is obviously, who am I, right? That's where you drag and drop that knowledge base file. So now it knows a lot about you. So that's when it's writing content, it's writing it specific for your funeral home. Third is what you need help with. This word, the more context you give it again, the better the output. Okay, so let's do some exercises together, just so that way all this kind of come in together. Okay, so for fun, we're gonna do a guide together. So that way you get to see how I use ChatGPT to write a pre-planning guide, how I chat with it. Then once the guide is written, we're gonna leverage ChatGPT to help us come up with different ways to promote the guide, such as help us write the social media posts to promote the guide, such as writing the email content to promote the guide, right? So I'll kind of give you how to do this yourself. Okay, so let's start with this. Okay, so I'm gonna do it side by side so you'll see how I use it here. Okay, I'm gonna open up ChatGPT here on the right hand side. Okay, so I got this pre-written. Okay, so we're writing that guide, right? So first thing here is the formula is I gotta let it know, right, who you are, the ChatGPT. So I want it to make sure it knows, right, your world-class copywriter. Okay. Sorry, I'm copying it, pasting it, so it's a little easier. Okay. So now once I put this here, you'll see it will change its own model. It now knows that it's a copywriter. Right. Then next is, again, since I don't have a good example, I don't have a knowledge file, I'm just going to use this funeral home as an example. Okay, so it's Whitney Murphy Funeral Home out in Phoenix, Arizona. So that way it knows when it's writing the content, it's just writing the content for this funeral home. So ChatGPT these days is actually pretty smart, to the point that it knows it's writing specifically for this firm, right? It will go study the website, study who they are, what they do, how they're different. But ideally, guys, is you still have that knowledge base file, you just drag and drop. Since I don't have one, right, I don't want to use theirs, so I'm just using this, okay? And then also the context here is I want to write this 10-page downloadable guide, right, to those who live around the funeral home about importance of prearranging their funeral. Okay, so this is just an example here, guys. Just want to show you. Okay. Okay, so let's copy and paste that in here. So now it knows what we're going to start working on. Okay, but the big thing here is before it start writing, what I want it to do is this. Right, what I want it's right when you're ever writing content, is I'm just using as an example, is I don't want it to be a very, very heavy, very, very technical guide. So I always write this at a 9th grade level. And before you write the whole guide, all I want is, I just want you to think of a title for me. Okay, so I'm just gonna type this out then so you guys can see it. Okay, and it doesn't worry about misspellings, right? It knows. Let me think of a title for this guide. Please help me think of 10 different titles to choose from. Okay, so now it's going to, before you write the whole guide, it's going to help us think of 10 titles to choose from. Right? So you can see they're not that bad, right? So unfortunately, I cannot chat with you guys to see which one you like. Okay, let's choose number 5 just for fun. Okay, so I'm just gonna say I like number 5. So that's going to be the guide title, right? So you can see I'm just chatting with it, guys. This is not intimidating. Really is, I always said it as I'm actually sitting next to a professional copywriter. For those of you who likes to use voice, that's even better, right? You can just chat with it, right? But since we're typing here, I'm just gonna type, right? So next, right, is okay, right? Option A, right? Before, I like that one too. Okay, that one's pretty good. Here are a few refined versions of number 5. Okay, it will also give you which one ChatGPT likes the most, right? So okay, we'll just go with this one. Okay, I'm just gonna say let's go with that one. Okay, so now it's starting to write the guide, which is something I don't want. It just loves to go out of its way. So if we're writing a guide, I typically like it to just come up with the outline first. Okay. Right. So again, this is very, very simple, guys. Right now, it's right coming up with page by page the outline, right, of what it right should. Right. It's actually pretty good, guys. It really is not that bad at all. It really knows about that pre-planning space. Why? Right. Why it's critical to prearrange, right? Also covers the myth, I'm too young, right? Those type of things, right? So now assumption here, again, I'm doing this super fast due to time. I will actually, if I were actually doing this, I'm going to read it. I'll raise it careful. And let's say if it's not correct, I will just tell it, right? I'm just going to type it in. Hey, this is not correct. Can you change this? Like, again, it's like if I were sitting next to a copywriter, we still need to be chatting with it. Right. So the whole thing here is the mindset I just want you guys to keep having is you're just chatting with it. Right. It's called a chatbot. The more you chat with it, the more it knows what you want. Okay. So let's pretend this is now this pretty good guide. Okay. So this is where I'm going to say, okay, please go ahead. Write page 1. Okay. So now it's going to start writing page 1. Okay, and you can see it knows it's writing for Whitney and Murphy, right? Again, it's indexed the website, so it kind of knows a little bit more about Whitney and Murphy. But again, right, if it's more for if you have the knowledge file built in there, it will know a lot more. Okay, right, page 2, okay, just so that we kind of get a context here. Okay, so you can see it's outputting very fast, right? Outrageous fast. That's where you still got to be QA, like quality assurance, right? Really be a little bit careful with this content here. Okay, so it's pretty good, right? Let's write page 3. Okay. All right, so you can see if you like it, you can just copy it and paste it onto Word if you like it. Okay, so I'm not going to write the whole guide. I'll give you guys a few extra tips here now. Okay, so for example, this is right. You can change the model here. As far as writing goes, me personally, as far as marketing content goes, marketing pieces, there's a few very, very famous copywriter out there. The one I love is his name is Gary Halbert. Many of you might heard of Gary Halbert. He's a very, very famous copywriter back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. He's the one that you guys used to get those dollar bill letters, right? There's a dollar bill attached to it. He's the one that kind of the copywriter for those type of letters. Okay, so this is where I'll show you how drastic things change. Okay, so I'm like, okay, I actually like Gary Halbert's writing style. Can you rewrite this page using Gary Halbert's style? So it would just totally change its writing style, and this is very, very much more Gary Halbert's writing style. Um, he tend to be, yeah, exactly, more personal, conversational, emotional, engaging, right? So this is his style. So if you have anyone out there that you tend to favor their style of writing, not necessarily marketing, right? Any type of writing content, if you like this person's style, then it knows, right? A lot of these very famous, right? Even authors, whoever it is, it would just mimic its style of writing. Right? So, right, you can see this is Gary Halbert style. It's again, it's very, very simple to read, very, very emotional based. It really is. If you're writing any type of marketing content, just use Gary Halbert style. So it's very, very engaging. Right? So let's pretend this is done. This guide is now done. Okay. So now that's actually, now we have a guide that's put together. Okay. Actually, before we do that, let's do a little more fun stuff then. Let's actually have it generate an image for the cover page. Okay. For that first page. Okay. Right. Again, it's the more context. Again, I'm just doing it as an example here, right? But you can see, right, it's designing it for me, right? The style, the colors, stuff like that, right? Okay. But I'm just gonna. Okay. So the image so far, this is the thing with ChatGPT so far, it's getting better. But you can see the image it creates, again, I didn't give context, right? Again, now it's like if I were to sit down with a graphics designer. If I sit down with a graphic designer, I don't give it feedback. I like this, I don't like this. Then of course the output will be generic, right? That's why many of you tried AI and you're like, hey, the content's not good. Hey, the output, the graphics doesn't look good. It's because you're not giving feedback to it, right? It's not magic. It cannot know exactly what you want. Okay, so that's why, again, this one here, let's see how good, right? Let's say I'm making this up, right? This is the first version it came up with. Okay, not too shabby, right? Not too bad, not too shabby, right? Before the need arises, a guide to making your final wishes known, right? There's some quotes here. It's not bad, right? I'm just going to give it feedback, for example, okay? And it knows it's in Arizona as well, so it matches pretty well, okay? I love it, but can you give me another different variation? With, inside a house, for example. I'm making this up, okay? But now, if you give it feedback, it's gonna create an image, a totally different image then. So these AI generated images, you can see in the past, it wasn't good in two things. Now it's much, much better. In the past, you might have 4 fingers, okay? And the images, the humans are not photorealistic. These days, it's almost there now, right? It's almost to a point, it's very, very hard to tell whether it's AI generated or it's a real photo. But what it was weak, I'll say not that bad anymore. It used to be very, very lousy in overlaying texts. And sometimes it'll be misspelling. But you can see, again, this is June 9th. This latest model, it got much, much better. So if you're trying to design brochures, right, you're trying to design anything graphics-based, GPL, even GPL, you want to redesign it, it just tell it, it will do something pretty good. Okay, so not too bad, right? Not too bad. Again, it's a little bit too wordy, stuff like that, but let's say, right, let's do this, right? Please remove the quote, right? So it's just going to go in there and remove that quote there. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so while it's creating, let's continue. Okay, so that's why I want to give you guys other examples now. Now, let's say you got this guide put together. Now, next is we want to promote this on social media, right? And sometimes like, oh, like what copy should I put on there? What is engaging? What's not engaging? But it's gonna help you, right? Come up with 10 different social media posts to promote this guide. Okay, so let's do that. You help me come up with 10 different social media posts to promote this guide. Assumption is I want to reach those who are 65 plus women. Okay. Right. So now it's going to be writing the social media post for you. I always do more than I need, so I can cherry pick which one resonated a little bit better. Right. So now, right, you got it pretty good. Like post, you can just keep on using or keep on chatting with it to come out with that. It's pretty cool. Really, it's right. These days it's so easy now. Okay. Or let's say also some of you might want to run Facebook ads to promote this guide. So I just want to show you. It knows all these different platforms when it's writing the app copy for Facebook ads, or it's writing an ad for direct mails. It's gonna just change this model. I'll show you right now. Okay. So same thing, right? I'm just gonna tell it, great. How about come up with 3 different Facebook ads to promote this guide? Okay. Then now it just switches model and knows, hey, now it's writing Facebook ad. Facebook ad has a syntax to it, right? It knows, okay, there's a headline, there's a description, there's CTA, call to action, and an ad copy. It's pretty smart, guys. It really is. It's getting pretty scarily good these days. Right? It will give you a few different angles, peace of mind angle, another one on curiosity angle. But same thing, don't just take it as is, right? Please do, right? Chat with it, right? This one I actually do like a lot. Yeah, most people have a retirement plans, right? But discuss their final wishes with their family, right? It's not bad, really not that bad. Okay. So let's say that's also, we want to do email marketing. Many of you do have a nice CRM system in place already where you're capturing some of these families, right? Same thing, you want to send this guide to those who might have raised their hand before. They might be interested in prearranging, right? But they haven't. So for example, okay. So I also want to send out 3 different emails to my database to promote this guide. Okay, I'm typing this pretty fast, but you kind of get it. But again, the more context you give it, the better it is. Okay, now it's writing the 3 email pieces for you. Right, not that bad. Seriously, guys, it's getting much, much better now. Especially, I keep on going back. If you had a knowledge file, it knows a lot more about your firm. It's going to be writing it just catered for you and your locality. Okay. Same thing is I want to send this out as a direct mail piece to promote this guide. Help me write a 3-page sales letter. Okay. For example, so now it's going to be writing a 3-page sales letter using Gary Halbert's tone. Okay. Now, again, I'm just scrolling through this, right? Just getting through this is actually pretty good. Right. And one thing here with direct mails is like a nice catchy headline, right? Please have a nice catchy headline. Now it's going to come up with a headline for you. If I were really doing this, yeah, it's same as this. I would like it to give me more examples. So there we go, 5 different ones. Okay. So that's on the marketing side. Okay. And same thing for those of you, this is where I really leverage AI quite a bit these days. Videos really do very well. So if you really are a little bit camera shy, uh, this really you can use ChatGPT to help you come up with the script, right? And once you have the script, you can just upload that script onto your phone and just read it off. It will still sound very natural, right? You can install an app on your phone called Teleprompter and just read it off. So for those of you who are very, very camera shy, right, this is the way to do it, right? But same thing is, hey, can you help me come up with the script to record a short 2-minute video to promote this guide, right? Same thing. It's going to help you with the script. Okay. Again, same thing. You got to QA it again. It's right. Right. So this is a few advanced stuff here. Then. So really is this is pretty darn smart. And there's some studies done. Is there more nicer to it? Seriously, the better the output. Again, it's one of those weird things, but treat it more like a human. Okay, don't treat it like a bot, right? If you think it really appreciates that, really treat it as your friend. But as you can tell, at the end of the day, it's really no longer prompting, right? Prompting is no longer a big deal. When it first came up 3-4 years ago, there's something of prompt engineering that you have to like chat with it, train it, right? These days, you just need to have a conversation with it. That's why I keep on going back. Is really is right. You have access to right different experts right next to you, right? So, okay. So let me give you guys some ideas now. Okay. So hopefully this is useful for you. There's nothing to be intimidated about in using ChatGPT then. So I'll give you guys some examples here how you might want to use it then. Of course, we only just give you examples on how to come up with content for marketing, right? It goes way beyond marketing, but just staying on topic on marketing, your website copy. You got to have better website copy, right? There's only a few right suppliers that put together websites for funeral homes. They're all good. But the content is very generic. It's not written specifically for you. Your content actually might look the same as somebody who's using the same template. So you got to go in there and rewrite somebody's content. Same thing, upload that knowledge base file in there. Hey, based on this knowledge base file, can you help me come up with a better About Us page? Can you help me rewrite the services pages? It's going to do that very well. Okay. So really is play with that, right? There's no reason to have like lousy website content now. Okay. Then offline wise these days, right? Just marketing materials, any type of marketing materials, brochures, GPL, all those, it will be able to outline it very, very well for you, right? Business cards, whatever you think about, right? Anything design based, right? Or even come up with brand guidelines for you, it will be able to do that then, right? Operations side, you can use it on many different things, right? Many different things. For example, rewriting your job descriptions, right? Employee handbook, for example. And also is me personally is I'm a little bit weak on I obviously we use QuickBooks. I do look at it. We have a bookkeeper, accountant, but it's very hard for me to know, right? This ratio, is it the right ratio? Should I be spending more here or even doing budgeting? But it's where ChatGPT is very good. So basically how I ask it is, hey, you are a CFO. You're a controller. So I basically uploaded, right, from QuickBooks my years of P&L on there. Let it analyze it for me, and then it will let me know. Let me know. Hey, right. Also, it's like, hey, I want to grow to here by end of the year. It's gonna help me with projections. Plus, it's gonna benchmark me versus other right agencies out there. So I know, hey, am I doing well here? Am I underspending here? Right. That's the same thing with death care. It knows a lot about funeral homes. Same thing. If you upload it, hey, I'm doing right. I'm making this 150 calls. I want to get to 175 calls, right? What do I need to grow to there? It's gonna kind of lay it out for you, right? Also, your P&L, it will let you know where you're overspending, where you're underspending. Then, okay. So that CFO role is actually very, very critical, right? Most of us don't have a luxury. We're all small business. We don't have access to having a full-time CFO. This is where, again, at the end of the day, right, having the right finances, having somebody to guide you is very, very critical. Right? And me personally, I also now think a lot. I actually think a lot on these AI tools. Whenever I have an idea, I go straight to ChatGPT and I start just brainstorming with it. Right? It's really just great for brainstorming. I have an idea. It's a good idea. It's a bad idea. I just started brainstorming with it. Right? And also a few other practical stuff here is anytime you get a positive or negative review, for example, Google review, of course you still want to be genuine, right? That's as a negative review. What you want to do is if you respond to it right away, that might, right, the wording might be a little off. You might be a little bit defensive, right? So what you do is you copy and paste that negative review onto ChatGPT, and you chat with it. Hey, this is actually what happened, right? Then it knows that, hey, when it's writing the response, it's going to be a little more, right, softer, but yet also, right, trying to at least lay out what happened here then, okay? And any content that you already had it written before, you can just drag and drop on there and let it rewrite it for you. You can also do competitive analysis. That's very, very critical. These days, ChatGPT can actually count obituaries on websites. So it could actually, you just let it know, hey, these are 5 of my competitors. It's going to go on there, count the obituaries for you, and let it, right, every month it gets run it. It'll just go on those 5 of your competitors, right? It's going to run the obituary count for you and then give you a stat and look at your market share, right? Or we can also tell it, hey, this is, right, you upload a knowledge file, can you compare us versus funeral home? How should we position ourselves? Right? Again, all these things are used to be, you have to hire, seriously, you got to hire professionals, right, to come out there, do strategic planning with you. These days, right, if you're lucky of doing that, yes. But even before you do that, you can get a lot of things done chatting with ChatGPT already. Okay. And a couple other tips here is anytime you're trying to troubleshoot something, right? For example, your computer is not working, this button's not working, really just do a screenshot of it. Just do a screenshot, right? Hopefully you have a screenshot tool on your PC and you can just copy and paste, right, on here. You just drag and drop that image in there, right? For example, and it's just gonna help you troubleshoot, right? And lastly, there's a lot of word out there about AI agents. A lot of things out there about AI agents these days. And it's called agentic AI, agentic AI. And these are, right, AI agents, bots out there doing stuff for you. And it sounds too good to be true, which still is, but it's getting pretty darn close. And the thought is you don't need to be in front of your computer. It's just doing things behind it, the scenes, right? So for example, you can tell it, hey, right, go off and just go on these 5 websites and count the pictures for me. You can just walk away from your computer, let it just run behind the scenes. And it's getting better. And the biggest thing here is this interface, which looks very, very even outrageous intimidating. So for those of you who saw on the news, something called Claude Code. Claude Code. So this Claude Code it still looks, right? Those of you who are my age and a little bit older, is like it looks like DOS Unix interface. It still is. So this used to be meant for coders. Coders will use, right, Claude Code to be writing codes to speed things up. These days, it's no longer meant for just coders. Using this, you can actually write software for you. It's called codeless. So you can write things that just, right, this whole agentic AI thing here is, hey, can you write a software for me that does this and that? And you just go off and create or a dashboard for you, right? And you can write a dashboard, can create a dashboard for me that does this, that it's going to go off and do it for you. So this is something I will probably, I started playing with this. This came out back in end of January. We started creating a bunch of little tiny tools internally. But it's definitely something you could start playing with it already to build little tiny software for your funeral home. Okay, so I'm gonna stop here since we're almost out of time, but answer some questions.
Thank you so much, Belton. If anybody has any questions, please type them in the question box on your screen and we will answer them. I'll just give it a moment. I hope everyone learned something. I know I learned a ton today. I don't use AI normally, but I can see now why it can be very useful.
Yeah, to me, it's still, I don't know, every time I use it, it just feels too good to be true, but that's why you just got to start playing with it. It really is, it's getting there. It really can help you a lot. And it's not a shortcut, but it really can help you speed up a lot of work.
Okay, we have our first question. Is Grok good? G-R-O-K.
So Grok, I don't use Grok a whole lot. It's just SSolid, right? That's basically X's or Elon Musk's Grok. I don't use a whole lot because I started using ChatGPT when it first came out. But that's I keep on saying, it doesn't matter which one you use, right? Whether you use Grok, Claude, Gemini, or ChatGPT, they're all pretty darn good on most of the day-to-day uses, right? Compared to 3 years ago, 2 years ago, right? You see anytime a model changes, that's a huge change. But these days, you can see even like, I don't know, ChatGPT is on 5 point, whatever it is, 5.8, I don't really care anymore. The increments are, yeah, it's improving, but it's not going to change a whole lot from a point of view. It's already there. You just got to use it.
And more of a comment than a question, we had someone comment that you can also use it to have AI set up your photo shoot for different rooms and also outdoor shots to feature on your website.
Yay. See? Just got to be creative.
All right. Are the images copyrighted? And if we use them, can we copyright them in our usage for websites, print, email, etc.?
Yeah, very good question. So I'm not a lawyer, but this is what I know of, is each image that's being generated by these AI tools, which is something you and I don't see. Behind the scenes, that file actually has a code tied to it. So that way, right, whenever these tools know it's AI generated. Again, it's like a watermark that you and I don't see. So, right. So these AI tools know it's AI generated. So legality point of view, again, I don't know. But by now, right, that's why I keep on saying you got to QA the work. But most of the time these days, yeah, the model is pretty darn good. to not copyright stuff. Versus 2-3 years ago, you'll see the images it creates are mimicking like actors, actress, for example. These days, it doesn't do that anymore. It just knows what's copyright, what's not copyright, but still gotta QA it. But these days, when I use these to create images, I don't worry a whole lot anymore.
Great. Well, we wait to see if there are any further questions. I just wanted to finish up with a few housekeeping. Again, we're asking that you allow 7 to 10 business days for your portal to reflect your credit, and then we will be mailing out a certificate. The ending number that you need to know is 86. That's 86. At this time, I don't see any other questions. I'm sure if anyone has questions, you can reach out to Welton directly. He's always happy to help us. And Welton, I just want to thank you so much for joining us today and for this very informative webinar of what, how we can better our business using the tools out there. So thank you so much again, and thank you everyone for joining us. I hope you have a great summer. We'll see you at convention.